Hey everyone, welcome to Singletrack. My name's Will, and today I want to talk to you about one of the cheapest but best upgrades you can make to your mountain bike. Now, if this is your first time joining us, make sure you click that subscribe button right now because we have plenty of videos coming your way in the near future. Right, so today I want to talk to you about my top 5 favorite lock-on mountain bike grips. To begin with, we're going to talk about what there is in a grip and what to look for when you're choosing a brand new grip for your mountain bike. Then I'm going to run through each of these grips and tell you what I liked and didn't like about them. And then I'm going to tell you which of them is my absolute favorite. So, what to look for in a mountain bike grip? The thing is, there are a lot of different types on the market. Over the years, I've tested a truckload of grips on various test bikes. Some of them have been good, some of them less good. In general though, I found that the grips that come on stock bikes do tend to be fairly cheap and nasty, and it's a really easy area to upgrade on your bike and make quite a big difference to both comfort and handling as well. Now, when you're looking for a new mountain bike grip, there's a few things to take into consideration. A lot of the grips we have on test here come in different diameters, so you often have the choice between a thick or a thin option. This usually comes down to the size of your hands, so the bigger your hands, the larger the diameter of the grip. The smaller your hands, the smaller you'll want that grip diameter to be. I'm a small to medium glove size, so I'll generally gravitate towards a thinner diameter grip. Another variable worth factoring in is how soft you want the grip to be. A lot of the grips on test here do come in soft or hard options, and that will change how the rubber feels in your hand, and it will also affect the durability of the grip too. Generally, I prefer a soft compound grip. I find they're more comfortable, you get more traction, and generally better vibration damping too. However, go too soft and you'll have a grip that wears out quite quickly and might feel a little bit vague on the trail as well. There's a pretty wide variety of different tread patterns that you can get with your lock-on grips, and this will affect how it feels in the hand and how much traction there is available as well. More texture on the grip creates more edges for your hands to grab onto, so in general, a more heavily textured grip will give you more traction, especially in wet conditions. However, some riders may prefer a grip with a lower profile tread pattern, which may provide more feedback from the trail. Also worth factoring in is whether you prefer riding with or without gloves, and if you are using gloves, how thick the palm on those gloves is going to be. Right, so the first grip on test here is from Lizard Skins. This is the MACASKILL signature lock-on grip. Lizard Skins, of course, is a brand that's been making lock-on grips for a very long time. However, this is one of the first grips that Lizard Skins has offered with a single lock-on clamp. So you'll notice that there's no clamp on the outside of this grip. Instead, the rubber runs all the way to the end of the handlebar. This gives a really wide area for your hand to grab onto. You'll also note that it's quite a thin diameter. This is a 29mm diameter, so one of the thinnest grips on test. Now, this does give you really good feedback on the trail. It's got a fairly spiky knurled pattern on here, which is consistent from the inside to the outside of the grip. So you get really good feedback from the trail with this thin diameter grip. The flip side is it's not the most comfortable grip because there is less rubber between your hand and the handlebar. In general, I preferred these grips on longer travel bikes with bigger suspension and bigger tires that were able to soak up all the vibrations. On shorter travel bikes and hardtails, I find them a little bit rough on my hands. You can get these in a load of different color options, and if you do want a thicker profile grip, Lizard Skins does make a slightly thicker diameter option, which is called the Charger Evo, and that's going to provide a little bit more vibration damping if you're looking for a bit more comfort. Right, so the next grip is the DMR Death Grips. These are very, very popular. These are a Brendog signature edition grip, and they've developed a bit of a cult following in the UK for these. Now, there are a load of different options with the Death Grips. You can get them with or without a flange on the inside. You can get thin or thick diameters, and you can also get them in hard or soft rubber compounds. The grips I've got on test here are the flangeless design. These are the thin diameter, and they are in the soft rubber compound. The tread pattern itself is relatively simple, but it's the combination of 3 simple tread patterns to make one fantastic grip. These have really good tactility and feel on the bars. You've got a small mushroom section at the end here, which creates quite a soft profile for that patch of skin in between your thumb and your forefinger. Actually adds quite a bit of comfort due to that flexible mushroom trim pattern. We've got a knurled pattern for the rest of the grip, which gives you really good feel on the handlebar, good tactility, good feedback. And underneath we have this half waffle pattern, which gives your fingers a little bit more edge to grab onto. The thing I don't like about these grips is that the lock-on collar often falls off the grip. It's not captured on the end here, so it can actually detach from the grip, which makes installation and removal a little bit of a pain. Speaking of, inside the DEATHGRIP is a tapered nylon sleeve, and the idea is to limit how much this grip can twist on the handlebar. The thing is, it makes it really hard to get onto the handlebar, and you really have to twist and push quite hard to get it on that last 20 millimeters or so. It does mean that they're not going to move or twist while you're riding though. They're very secure with great feedback, great control on the handlebar, but the thin diameter on this does mean that they're not the most comfortable grip. Going for the thick option will give you a little bit more vibration damping though. Next up, we have the ODI Elite Flow grips. Now ODI, another classic grip brand. These guys basically invented the lock-on grip. This is one of their most advanced grips to date. The Elite series come in 3 different options, and this is the middle diameter option. It's called the Flow. The diameter is around 31 millimeters on here. It uses a single locking clamp and a slight taper towards the end, which is really good for running your hands wider on the handlebar because you've got a really good reference point there for where the end of the bars are. Now, the clever thing about this grip is it has an offset profile, and what that means is the rubber is actually thicker in the section that faces your palm. The thicker rubber gives you more vibration damping and more comfort, but the rest of the grip still stays fairly thin. So overall, it's got a nice kind of low profile with good tactility on there. We also have a half waffle pattern underneath the grip, which again is for your fingers to grab onto to give you a little bit more hold when conditions are a little bit slippery. Overall, I have very little to complain about these grips. They provide good vibration damping without creating a really fat and awkward grip to hold onto. Next up, we've got the RENTHAL traction lock-on grips. Now, RENTHAL make 3 different series of mountain bike grips. These are the traction series, and they're defined by these angled grooves that are molded into the rubber. And the idea here is to provide more edges for your hand to hold onto. They're available in 4 different compounds, from medium all the way through to these, which are called the ULTRATACKY compound. They are super duper soft. I'm pretty sure they might be made out of dehydrated treacle. They just ooze on the handlebar. Very, very comfortable, exceptional grip from these. Those angled grooves on here are asymmetric though, so there is a right and a left grip, and there is an up and a down. So you do need to install them correctly to ensure that those grooves are facing the right direction. And when you do have them installed correctly, those edges will work against your fingers when you need to pull up on the handlebars, but the rearward facing edges will push into your palm when you're descending steep trails or when you're braking and your pressure is pushing down onto the grip. The downside of that super sticky rubber is they will wear faster than a grip that uses a harder rubber compound. One other thing to note on these grips is that out of this group test, these are the only grips that have 2 clamps, one on either side of the grip. That means they're really secure on the handlebar, though they do use annoyingly 2.5 millimeter hex screws to bolt them on, which is a size that doesn't come on many multi-tools. The other thing I find is that if you like to run your hand really wide on the grip and the handlebar, you've got that metal collar on the end there rather than soft rubber. It'd be really nice to see RENTHAL offer a single locking clamp version of these grips, which I think would make them absolutely perfect. Last but certainly not least, we have the ERGON GE1 Evo grip. Now, the GE grip has been around for a few years, and it's targeted towards enduro racers and really anyone who's running wide handlebars. This is the new version of the GE grip, so it has an updated tread pattern which provides more edges and more traction on here. And you can now get it in slim or standard diameters and firm or soft rubber compounds. I've got the slim diameter option here, and I've got it in the factory rubber compound in this orange finish. Now, the rubber is quite soft, and with all of those edges on this grip, it provides a load of traction on here. There are a few really neat features on this grip though, which make it stand out from the rest. It might be difficult to tell, but there's a slight taper towards the end of the grip, where the grip flares out away from the handlebar. This actually widens the effective width of the handlebar, and in some cases, it's added about 10 millimeters over a standard grip. The reason the end of the grip is flared out like that is to support your hand when you're running it right on the edge of the handlebar. The profile of the grip is also there to encourage you into an elbows out riding style. It does have an ergonomic profile and it's also asymmetric, so there is a left and right specific grip and there is an up and a down orientation. It's worth playing around with this to get the position right, because once you do, these grips feel absolutely fantastic. Not only do they encourage an elbows out riding style, but rotating the grip will actually drag your hand around and get you to put more weight onto the front tire, which I've found really useful for my riding style. In my experience, there are very few downsides to this grip aside from the price. It is the most expensive grip on test here. It is a really well-made grip though, with really good attention to detail, fantastic traction, and really good vibration damping as well. In fact, this grip is so good that it's earned a Singletrack Recommended Award. If you're looking for a new set of lock-on grips, make sure you put these on your list. Right, so there we go, my top 5 favorite lock-on mountain bike grips. I'd love to know what you think of these grips, and I'd also love to hear if you've got any suggestions for grips that you're using at the moment, which you think are absolutely fantastic. Put your comments and questions into the comment section below, and as always, give us a like for the video, and if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button because we have loads more videos coming your way. All right, that's it from me. We'll see you next time. Tooroo!